After 45 minutes of Starfield content, surprisingly enough, I still felt like there was a lot that Bethesda was keeping under their sleeves. So out of curiosity, I went scrolling through the Starfield subreddit and I was shocked at what the community found. Let's start with the most shocking things first. These screenshots have revealed a secret power that wasn't discussed by the developers. Right next to the star map option may very well be a sort of space magic, or I guess you could even call it a spell skill. Reason being is the menu definitely includes areas for character info skills, weapons and equipment, info on your ship, and something for quests. That leaves out something pretty interesting for that top middle option. Psychic powers have been confirmed to be in the game too, so a magic skill isn't far from reach. We've even seen parts of the trailer where there seemed to be some sort of magic usage involved as well. Whatever it is, this is a very interesting find and something that Bethesda is keeping under wraps for now. A user recently posted a screenshot from the showcase confirming that Starfield does have a bounty system. This adds even more crazy intricacies to the game. They mentioned bounty hunting very briefly, nonchalantly at around the 21-minute point, but they didn't go into it at all. With this, keep in mind that your traits will certainly play a factor on your bounty level, as we've already seen certain traits having to do with you being with or against certain groups in the game. This next screenshot highlights a very interesting trait known as the wanted trait. The trait gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but at that moment, mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you. With this trait, I'd imagine you can steal ships pretty easily, as there has been confirmed to be other ways to steal ships than just from docking on them in space by Todd Howard in an interview recently with IGN. Another nice spot from a Reddit user is one that confirms that your character will have health hazard statuses, like cost, joint pain, and soreness, as well as many others I'm sure. This adds a survival aspect to worry about when you're landing on a new planet. Makes sense as mentioned in the comments, and I agree, as the gravitational pull difference between planets would definitely cause joint pain. Next is a pretty sick sort of lock-on auto-aim system that's available in third-person mode. And a great metaphor mentioned is that it sort of looks like GTA's auto-aim snap. I just want to make this clear. We aren't getting a confirmation here on whether or not it's an aspect of the gun possibly, or it's a sort of player auto-aim for your character no matter what. But we do get a confirmation that the third-person combat looks amazing nonetheless. This image highlights that water is meant to be swimmable for a reason, as the status shown here is safe. This other one here says radioactive, and this one says there's no water on this planet at all. What's an interesting insight brought up from this is perhaps Bethesda is currently hiding the fact that creatures, or this is a bit of a reach, but maybe even cities can be found underwater. Otherwise, the only purpose of the radioactive status in the water would just be that you can't swim in it. Next, I got a screenshot here with names and the icons of all the skills that have been confirmed. If you'd like to, feel more than welcome to pause to write down some of the skills you feel like playing with. Otherwise, let's move on, as we've got a lot more to cover. This is a pretty quick and cool find. You're going to be able to name your ships to whatever you want. This developer named his ship Dumpster Fire, for example. And speaking of ships, this next screenshot shows that some companions have the ability to fly your ship. This subreddit user's post confirms that Earth has turned from blue to a gray color. Could be many things that happen to it, who knows, but in the game, it's for sure that Earth is a shell of what it once was. Alright, here's a confirmation that you can change your character's appearance genetically later on in your playthrough. You can do this in Skyrim and Fallout 2 if you didn't know, but it's just great to see that this is confirmed for Starfield from the screenshot. Alright, this section here is going to be about the storyline. I just want to go ahead and say this is a spoiler, but it's about the start of the game. So no big deal in my opinion, but if you want, skip ahead. But I think it's pretty fun to speculate at least about how the start of the game will go. So let's get into that. Simply put, the artifact that was being discussed by the Constellation crew during the trailer is being held casually by one of the players you're talking to right before you create your character. So it's likely that the very beginning of the game is you interacting with the artifact in some way. Just something to consider about your background story perhaps. You've stumbled upon this before being seemingly just a completely normal person, and this artifact has changed your entire path. So have that sort of perspective when you think about your background story that you choose and your skill sets. Very, very important to the game that we can highlight and discuss in depth in another video. If you'd like that, let me know and leave that in the comments. And it's something that we were just talking about. Character backgrounds, they're so important. And it's really, really cool that we can take a look at these in detail, these screenshots. Of course, we've got a lot more to choose from with details that haven't been revealed yet, but definitely read these. They're interesting, think about them, and in my opinion, this is where I'd recommend you spend the most time on your character build. Of course, I mean, it's your character's background after all, and see how these screenshots compare to one another and the possibilities that the other ones on this list may involve, depending on the context of the names that they have here. This next Reddit post was the longest one of all. Hats off to ASD. This user pretty much confirmed that the Starfield is built around and powered by Earth's very sun. This gameplay detail here further showcases the amount of customizability you have with your ships. Every tab under the circled option is its own type of module. And this is a quick highlight. Amazing. You can land anywhere on a planet, not just the outpost of that planet. Want to go and highlight that in case you missed it. Another amazing addition to the game. Here's a screenshot that highlights that genetics and reproduction is shown when you scan an alien. Take that for what you will. Could be that we're going to be able to steal eggs perhaps from these aliens. Who knows? But could be, I think that's just a detail. There are things that are information details, for example, like in No Man's Sky. Here we see that selling food gives you a crazy amount of money. Look how much you can get from selling this gourmet looking meal, and we also had a developer talking about how she would collect sandwiches and such, so pretty funny to see. So definitely think about becoming a chef for your first playthrough perhaps. Great view here of what the surface of Pluto looks like. Amazing catch, and this view here really showcases the immersion of the game. You're at a space station, and through the glass of that space station, you can see a spaceship exploding in the distance. Just amazing. Here we've got a button on a certain ship, or maybe all ships, that says Rage Quit on it, and we'll finish off on something pretty cool. One of the character design presets is a retired Canadian astronaut whose name is Chris Hadfield. Subscribe and like if you'd like more pre-release Starfield content that goes into depth about the game like this, and comment with anything you spotted that wasn't discussed in this video. It's been Intivel, and thanks for watching.